Hello and welcome back to another video. So today I'm going to be giving you my impressions of the Survival Hunter in Warlords of Draenor. Now Survival is actually a spec that's got a decent amount of changes going on. They're sort of small, but they're fun little tweaks. However, overall, I do think this is a rather dull spec. Despite the fact that it does have some really good ideas going on with it, and I'll explain why in this video. So first of all, in terms of your core gameplay, well, you're still putting on your Black Arrow, you're still, using your explosive shot, lock and load still, works off your Black Arrow ticks, and, you've got, then your talent abilities and things like that. The funny thing about this spec is that by default, though, without any talents, it's only got 4 abilities, and 5 if you include multi-shot, I suppose 6 with explosive trap, but I just mean the core rotational abilities. Now, I suppose they do actually make pretty good use of these 4 abilities. You've got Cobra Shot, which of course is just the regular thing. Black Arrow at least has got interaction with Explosive Shot. Explosive Shot's just your cool big thing. And Arcane Shot is perhaps the most interesting ability that is here. I know that really does sound strange. You probably noticed something. I haven't mentioned Serpent Sting being a thing. That's because it's kind of less of a thing now. It's actually baked into Arcane Shot. So basically, Blizzard did not like how Serpent Sting played out on live. Well, I suppose not live anymore now that 6.0 is here. During MOP, what happened is you would use Serpent Sting, and then that would just be constantly refreshed by your Cobra Shot. This meant that as long as you were paying attention, you basically never really, it was just always on. It was free DPS, essentially. There was not much of a decision there was no gameplay, nothing like that. Well, this is really cool what they've done now. So, Arcane Shot will apply Serpent Sting for however many seconds, but Cobra Shot will not refresh it. This means that you will essentially have to Arcane Shot every 15 seconds or whatever to ensure maximum uptime of Serpent Sting. Now this is really good for the flow of the spec, and also in terms of just planning out your focus. Arcane Shot costs 30 focus, which is a decent amount of focus when you get down to it. I mean, Explosive Shot's 15, okay, Black Arrow is 35, then you got things like Dire Beast, which is free, Glaive Toss, which is 15, so you got a lot of cheap focus abilities. But then there's Arcane Shot, which costs 30, so you need to plan the timing of your Serpent Sting in with, your Serpent Sting duration that's left on your target, with your focus and all that stuff, which leads to a pretty decent flow. However, I still don't think that's enough. It's one cool mechanic, it's one cool idea, but it's not enough on its own. Serpent Spread is still a thing. If you don't know what that is, essentially it just means that your multi-shot will actually spread Serpent Sting to all targets. It will apply it to all targets that it hits. So in an AoE situation, you'll want to be using your multi-shot just to ensure that there's always Serpent Sting up on every target. Another nice thing, and I don't know if this is in MOP at the minute right now because I'm having a bit of a brain fart, whatever. But yeah, Explosive Trap's on a 12-second cooldown, which means that it can be a part of your AoE rotation, so that's cool. And yeah, anyway, so in terms of other things that's going on with this spec, well, as with all the Hunter specs, a lot of your variation and choice comes from the talents. This means that Survival just feels like, the feel of the specs for the Hunter are just kind of boring and homogenized. They don't really feel different and unique and awesome, because a lot of your gameplay changes come from your talent tree. Now, personally, I've been going for Murder of Crows, Glaive Toss, Lone Wolf, and Dire Beast. The reason why I've done that is because I want more buttons to press. Frankly, like, if you go for Thrill of the Hunt / Steady Focus, then Blink Strikes, then, I don't know, Glaive Toss and Exotic Munitions, you're going to have so few buttons to hit that it's just not going to be fun. So from the perspective of me actually wanting to enjoy this spec, I want those buttons to press. I'm sorry, I don't even care if that's not the optimal way to play right now in the beta. I want more buttons because, frankly, on its own, there's not enough here. While there is an interesting interaction with the Arcane Shot, Serpent Sting, and, while lock and load and all that stuff is still fun, I just don't think it's enough. As I think I said, there's interesting ideas, but there's not enough meat on the bones of this spec. Now let's just talk about one or two other changes. First, Kill Shot is gone. Now, I think this sucks. Kill Shot makes sense in the context of a marksmanship hunter for me. It's kind of, the marksmanship hunter using their extreme skill with a bow to get a, critical strike, or, a shot in the vitals when your enemy's nearly down. The lore of that makes sense. Does the lore of a BM hunter having it make sense? No. Therefore, why are you removing it from Survival? It doesn't make sense. There's no, feel reason to do that. it just feels pointless and arbitrary. And one of the great things about kill shots and other execute mechanics is that by the time you're at 35% in a fight, by the way, most of those kill shots and things like that now work at 35% and under, but at that stage of a fight, you're usually pushing into phase 3. It's usually a bit scary, maybe 1 or 2 people in your raid are down, maybe the healer's running out of mana, maybe you're in a burn phase of the boss. There's a lot of tension going on, and right when that tension happens, you unlock one of your big damaging abilities that's it just feels nice to use. That's a fun mechanic, and I think that just plays in well with the design of many classes. Therefore, I just think that removing it from the Survival Hunter is just taking something away for no good reason and adding no depth. It's adding nothing fun. It just feels pointless, so that sucks. Another thing that I think sucks is the lack of a cooldown. Yeah, I can understand how Bestial Wrath fits very much within the fiction of a BM Hunter. I can also understand how Rapid Fire fits very much within the fiction of a Marksmanship Hunter. But damn it, I would like something for the Survival Hunter. Now, for many reasons. First of all, it's nice using your potion and then also a cooldown at the same time. That's just, you know, stacking things. Feels rewarding, all cool. It's also nice when you, at the start of a fight, use a potion, you have all your trinkets proc, then your lock and load procs, and it's all great. That stuff feels cool. You can't do that anymore. Another thing is that things like Rapid Fire break up the pace every once in a while because they increase your haste or something like that. That doesn't happen with this spec. Even with, say, the Beast Mastery Hunter, and I think, you know, Bestial Wrath's a boring spell, but at least what it does is that it halves the cost of your spells, which means you can just sort of spam spells, and that's a bit of fun. Whereas with this, you're constantly just in the same pace. There's never anything interesting that appears to sort of just, I don't know, make it feel fun. It's nice when you hit 35 or 20% in a boss and then you can kill shot. It's nice when your cooldowns, well, come off cooldown and then you can use them again. They are fun mechanics, and it just seems like they were removed for no good reason from the spec. So that's a bit of a shitty situation. Now, there's one last thing I want to talk about, and that is the Tier 17 bonus. With many classes, it feels like the Tier 17 bonus is a bit of a band-aid to... Oh, wow, why? I said band-aid! No, I'm not American. It's like a bandage fix that Blizzard have applied just to... You know, just to try to make some maybe slightly otherwise lackluster specs feel more interesting. So, the 2-set bonus for the SV Hunter is that whenever you cast your Black Arrow, you instantly get lock and load. I think that's really fun, and it will also reset the cooldown on your first explosive shot. So what you can do is 1 explosive shot, then Black Arrow, then you can do 3 more, which I think is a pretty cool thing to do. That just feels like fun, so that's a pretty cool thing. However, the 4-piece is that whenever you do an explosive shot, your multi-strike is increased by 15% for 3 seconds. So, that's kind of boring to me. I suppose what it means is that you can stagger your explosive shots a little bit so that there's always there's always the ability going on in your opponent, but just making sure that you don't overlap 3-second buffs. But I just don't think that's particularly fun. I think it's just a boring 4-piece, really. So, that's what's going on with the Survival Hunter. There's good ideas, not enough meat in the bones, and really, it's not enough to make me want to move over to this spec. Now, just as for the footage in the background, this is stuff that I did on stream, and it was some of my initial testing for this class, but I think Shadow Moon Burial Grounds is a really cool dungeon, so I wanted to show you this footage. And overall, in that dungeon, it still felt like a fun enough spec to play. Just, as I said, there could be a little bit more going on there. And of course, my play's not perfect in all of these videos, so, like, it's just quick first impressions, as I'm sure many of you realize. Anyway, that's it for the video. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think about all this if you're a hunter, and I will see you next time. Oh, actually, one little thing that I do want to add in, no idea where I'm going to cut it into this video, but I think that SV actually does have one benefit, in that it provides a very nice and approachable way to play a hunter for newer players. So, yeah, they can get into a flow, and I think that could actually work out well for new players, and I guess it's good in that respect. But as someone who's been playing a hunter for many years, I just got bored. I felt like I nearly instantly knew what I should be doing, and then the execution just wasn't particularly cool.